Welcome to a celebration of autumn's charm and beauty. In this video, we present 4 enchanting stories that blend the warmth of fall decor, the elegance of fall florals, and the joy of hosting. To set the mood, here's a poem to inspire and uplift. Autumn's Invitation. In the crisp embrace of autumn's grace, where fall decor and florals find their place, we gather, round with hearts aglow, to share the warmth the season bestows. In hues of amber, gold, and red, where fallen leaves and memories spread, we host with joy and spirits bright, inviting all to savor the light. Let each bloom and pumpkin, each cozy scene, be a beacon of hope, serene and keen. For in this season of transformation's call, we find our strength and rise above it all. Embrace the moment, let your heart take flight. In fall's gentle touch, find pure delight. With every bloom and every festive cheer, let autumn's magic draw us near. In a secluded corner of the countryside, there stood an old Victorian home, partially hidden by a sprawling garden. As autumn settled in, the garden was transformed into a moody tapestry of colors and textures. Hydrangeas in deep blues and muted purples stood out against the backdrop of fading green foliage, their soft petals a stark contrast to the deepening tones of the season. Rose, the homeowner, had always been passionate about seasonal decor. This year, she decided to create a unique atmosphere that reflected both the melancholy beauty of fall and the vibrant presence of her beloved hydrangeas. Her goal was to infuse her home with a sense of mystery and elegance, capturing the essence of autumn in a way that was both stylish and evocative. Rose began by carefully arranging hydrangeas in antique vases throughout the house. Their deep hues provided a rich counterpoint to the more muted tones of the fall decor. Each vase was placed strategically on a polished wooden console, beside a grand fireplace, and on an old writing desk in the library. The arrangement created a cohesive and moody aesthetic that resonated with the season's introspective spirit. The living room was adorned with luxurious velvet cushions in shades of deep burgundy and charcoal gray. A plush, oversized throw in a rich plum was draped over the back of the sofa, inviting guests to settle in and enjoy the warm ambience. The room was illuminated by the soft glow of antique lamps, their stained glass shades casting colorful reflections on the walls. Rose's favorite touch was the fall-themed centerpiece on the dining table. A dark wooden vase held an array of hydrangeas, mixed with candles of various heights. The candles were scented with cinnamon and cloves, adding a warm, spicy aroma that complemented the moody decor. Around the centerpiece, she scattered small, decorative pumpkins in muted colors, their presence understated yet integral to the overall design. As evening fell, the atmosphere in the house became even more enchanting. Rose had chosen a playlist of classical music that played softly in the background, its gentle melodies enhancing the room's serene and contemplative mood. The flickering candlelight created dancing shadows on the walls, adding to the room's magical, almost ethereal quality. In the quiet of the night, Rose sat by the fire, a book in hand, and a cup of herbal tea at her side. The crackling of the logs and the soft hum of the music created a cocoon of comfort and elegance. Through the window, the garden was a silhouette of dark shapes and soft colors, the hydrangeas standing as silent sentinels in the cool night air. As the days passed, Rose's home became a haven of autumnal beauty, where the moody charm of the season was perfectly captured. The hydrangeas continued to be a focal point, their presence a reminder of the deep, reflective nature of fall. Each guest who visited remarked on the unique and stylish decor, finding solace and inspiration in the tranquil, sophisticated atmosphere Rose had created. In the heart of autumn, Rose had successfully blended the timeless elegance of her Victorian home with the moody beauty of fall, creating a space where every detail told a story of seasonal transformation and artistic vision. In the heart of a quaint village, nestled at the edge of a sprawling forest, stood the Old Oak Inn. It was a charming, rustic place renowned for its cozy atmosphere and fall decor. As the crisp air of late October settled in, the inn transformed into a haven of pumpkins, fall florals, and the rich hues of the season. The innkeeper, Margaret, was a woman with a deep appreciation for the beauty of fall. Each year, she decorated the inn with the most romantic and beautiful touches of the season. This year, she had gone all out, preparing for a special evening event that would celebrate the allure of autumn. Margaret's front porch was adorned with a delightful array of pumpkins, big and small, orange and white, each one meticulously arranged among clusters of fall florals. Their vibrant colors, rusty reds, golden yellows, and deep oranges, contrasted beautifully with the rich green of the surrounding ivy. A cascade of leaves in shades of amber and crimson framed the entrance, creating a picturesque scene that welcomed guests to an evening of enchantment. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a soft twilight glow, the first guests arrived. They were greeted by the sight of twinkling fairy lights woven through the fall decorations, their warm light casting a romantic ambience over the inn. The scent of spiced cider and cinnamon filled the air, mingling with the fresh, crisp aroma of autumn leaves. Margaret had set up an outdoor seating area with a fire pit at the center, surrounded by cozy blankets and cushioned chairs. The tables were elegantly dressed with pumpkins and fall florals as centerpieces, the colors beautifully reflecting the changing leaves of the forest. Soft music played in the background, adding to the serene and romantic atmosphere. Among the guests was Evelyn, a young woman who had always been enchanted by the beauty of fall. She had heard about Margaret's special evening and was eager to experience it for herself. As she wandered through the beautifully decorated inn, she couldn't help but be captivated by the sights and sounds of the season. As Evelyn admired the fall decorations, she found herself drawn to a charming corner of the garden where a vintage wooden swing was draped with fall florals. The swing was set under a grand old oak tree, its branches heavy with a blanket of golden leaves. She took a seat, letting the romance of the evening wash over her. Soon, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves above, and Evelyn noticed a couple nearby. They were seated by the fire pit, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the flames. They seemed to be lost in their own world, sharing quiet conversations and warm laughter. Their presence added to the charm of the evening, making Evelyn feel as though she had stepped into a storybook. As the evening progressed, Margaret announced a special surprise, a lantern-lit walk through the forest. The guests eagerly followed, their path lit by glowing lanterns that cast a soft, golden light on the ground. The forest was alive with the sounds of nature, and the crisp air was invigorating. As they walked, Evelyn found herself in awe of the beauty surrounding her. The forest floor was covered in a rich carpet of leaves, and the trees were adorned with fall florals that added a touch of color to the landscape. The lanterns created a magical atmosphere, and the gentle breeze made the leaves dance as if they were celebrating the arrival of colder weather. The walk led them to a clearing where a beautiful display awaited, a large, intricately carved pumpkin sitting atop a pedestal, surrounded by a ring of candles. The scene was breathtaking, and Evelyn felt a deep sense of peace and contentment. It was a perfect reflection of the romantic and beautiful fall evening she had hoped for. As the night drew to a close, the guests returned to the inn, their hearts full of warmth and joy. The fire pit was rekindled, and Margaret served delicious fall treats and hot beverages. Evelyn mingled with fellow guests, sharing stories and laughter as they reminisced about the enchanting evening. When it was time to leave, Evelyn walked back through the beautifully decorated inn, taking one last look at the pumpkins and fall florals that had made the night so special. The charm of the evening lingered in her heart, and she knew she would carry the memory of this romantic fall celebration with her for years to come. The old oak had once again proven that the beauty of autumn was not just in the changing leaves or the crisp air, but in the way it brought people together to share moments of joy and wonder. Nestled deep in a serene valley, surrounded by towering trees and rolling hills, stood a quaint cabin. The cabin, with its rustic charm and cozy appeal, was a haven of yellow, red, oranges, browns, and deep greens, a true reflection of the vibrant autumn landscape. As the season reached its peak, the valley transformed into a canvas of fall colors, each hue blending seamlessly into the next. Martha, the cabin's owner, had always cherished the slower pace of life that autumn brought. She found peace in the simplicity of her surroundings and the quiet moments of reflection that the season offered. Her days were filled with the warmth of a crackling fire, the scent of fresh-baked bread, and the sight of leaves dancing in the wind. One crisp autumn morning, Martha decided to spend the day enjoying the beauty of her surroundings. She wrapped herself in a cozy brown blanket and stepped outside, her breath visible in the cool air. The cabin was nestled among a grove of trees, their leaves ablaze with hues of yellow, red, and orange. The ground was a patchwork of fallen leaves, creating a beautiful contrast with the deep greens of the evergreens that stood tall around the cabin. Martha took a leisurely stroll along a winding path that meandered through the grove. The path was lined with deep green ferns and clusters of vibrant autumn flowers that had begun to fade into soft, muted tones. The gentle crunch of leaves underfoot was the only sound that broke the stillness of the morning, adding to the cinematic quality of the scene. As she walked, Martha admired the changing colors of the landscape. The trees were a brilliant tapestry of yellow, red, and orange, their leaves rustling softly in the breeze. The air was filled with the earthy aroma of fallen leaves and the faint scent of pine from the nearby forest. Martha's heart swelled with contentment as she took in the peacefulness of her surroundings. After her walk, Martha returned to the cabin and settled into a comfortable armchair by the window. She had prepared a pot of steaming apple cider and a basket of fresh breads. As she sipped her cider and nibbled on a slice of warm bread, she gazed out at the picturesque scene before her. The cabin's windows framed a perfect view of the grove, with its vibrant autumn colors and the tranquil landscape beyond. The afternoon passed slowly, with Martha enjoying the simple pleasures of the season. She spent her time reading a beloved book, its pages warm from the fire, and occasionally gazing out the window to watch the sunlight filter through the colorful canopy of leaves. The soft glow of the late afternoon sun cast a golden light over the grove, adding to the cinematic quality of the scene. As evening approached, Martha prepared for a quiet night in. She lit candles throughout the cabin, their soft flicker casting a warm, inviting glow. She added a few logs to the fire, which crackled and popped as the flames danced. The cozy warmth of the cabin contrasted beautifully with the crisp, cool air outside. Martha settled into her favorite armchair once more, now wrapped in a soft red throw. The firelight played on the walls, creating a peaceful and soothing ambience. The sounds of the evening were gentle, the occasional hoot of an owl, the rustling of leaves in the wind, and the distant murmur of a stream. It was a perfect evening for quiet reflection and appreciation of the beauty that autumn brought. As the night deepened, Martha watched the stars begin to twinkle in the clear, crisp sky. The tranquility of the cabin and the surrounding grove made her feel profoundly connected to the world around her. She was grateful for the slower pace of life that autumn offered and the opportunity to fully immerse herself in its peaceful splendor. The cabin in the Golden Grove had once again proven to be a sanctuary of calm and contentment. In the heart of autumn, Martha found joy in the simple pleasures of life, surrounded by the breathtaking beauty of nature and the comforting embrace of her cozy home. On the edge of a quaint village surrounded by rolling hills, there was a charming little cottage owned by Harriet, an avid gardener and lover of all things cozy. As autumn rolled in, Harriet's garden was a vibrant display of chrysanthemums and sunflowers. Their rich hues of plum and deep red created a warm contrast against the cool, neutral tones of her cottage's decor. One crisp autumn morning, Harriet awoke to the gentle patter of rain on her window pane. It was the perfect day for staying indoors, but Harriet had other plans. She had been eagerly preparing for a special garden party to celebrate the season, rain or shine. The party was to be held in her beautifully decorated garden, where the chrysanthemums and sunflowers would provide a burst of color against the gray sky. Harriet carefully draped her outdoor furniture with soft, neutral-colored throws and set out deep red cushions to match the vibrant flowers. She had even arranged a special corner with cozy seating and a table adorned with a plum-colored tablecloth and matching napkins. The rain, however, had other ideas. As Harriet set the final touches on her garden, she noticed the drizzle becoming heavier. She sighed but was determined to make the best of it. Just as she was about to head inside to rethink her plans, she heard a commotion from the garden. Curious, she stepped out into the rain, and what she saw made her heart flutter with joy. Her garden, though drenched, was teeming with animals, a delightful array of woodland creatures who seemed to have gathered for the party. There were fluffy squirrels darting from branch to branch, rabbits hopping around the flower beds, and even a pair of deer peeking out from the tree line. The chrysanthemums and sunflowers swayed gently in the rain, adding a whimsical touch to the scene. Harriet watched in amazement as the animals made themselves at home. The squirrels were playfully rearranging the deep red cushions, while the rabbits snuggled into the neutral throws. The deer cautiously approached the table, their noses twitching at the plum-colored napkins. Harriet couldn't help but laugh at the sight of the creatures enjoying her setup, their presence making the garden party even more magical. The rain continued to fall, but Harriet embraced it as part of the enchantment. She decided to join her unexpected guests in the garden, pouring herself a cup of hot cider and settling into a cozy chair. As she sipped her drink, the squirrels chattered and the rabbits nibbled on fallen leaves, creating a charming symphony of nature's sounds. As the afternoon wore on, Harriet noticed that the rain had softened to a gentle mist. The garden was alive with the shimmering reflections of water on the flowers and the soft, glowing light filtering through the clouds. Harriet's heart swelled with contentment. The animals had transformed her rainy day into a lively and heartwarming celebration. Just as Harriet was about to head inside for the evening, a fox appeared at the edge of the garden. With a graceful leap, it approached the table and sniffed the plum-colored napkins with a curious expression. Harriet smiled, feeling as though her garden party had been blessed by every creature who had come to visit. As twilight descended, the animals began to disperse, leaving Harriet alone with the peaceful garden. The rain had stopped, leaving behind a fresh, earthy scent that mingled with the fragrance of the chrysanthemums and sunflowers. Harriet tidied up, her heart full of gratitude for the magical day she had experienced. The next morning, the sun broke through the clouds, casting a golden light over the garden. Harriet looked out at her beautiful, albeit slightly damp, garden and knew that the party had been a success. It wasn't just the decor or the flowers that had made the day special. It was the unexpected joy of sharing it with her furry and feathered friends. From that day on, whenever it rained, Harriet would think of the delightful garden party and the wonderful animals who had joined her. The memory was a reminder that sometimes the most enchanting moments come when you least expect them, turning even the dreariest days into something extraordinary. In the charming village of Harvestville, the arrival of autumn was always a reason for celebration. The Harvest House, with its welcoming ambience and cozy charm, was the perfect setting for an autumn tea, bringing together friends and neighbors for a delightful afternoon. On a crisp, golden autumn day, the Harvest House's sunlit dining room was transformed into a haven of seasonal beauty. A wooden table was laid out with a picturesque tea spread, designed to capture the essence of fall. At the center of the table was a rustic basket filled with freshly baked cinnamon rolls, their sweet, spicy aroma filling the room. Next to the basket, a wooden cutting board held additional rolls, their golden brown perfection glistening under the soft light. A coffee carafe stood prominently on the table, accompanied by a steaming cup, ready to offer warmth and comfort. The rich, aromatic coffee was a perfect complement to the sweet cinnamon rolls. Scattered around the table were small decorative pumpkins, their vibrant orange and cream hues adding a touch of autumnal charm to the setting. The centerpiece of the table was a stunning arrangement of fall hydrangeas in a large vase. The hydrangeas, with their deep, rich colors, created a striking contrast against the soft, muted tones of the background. Their presence added an elegant touch to the tea setting, enhancing the overall atmosphere of warmth and sophistication. As the guests arrived, they were greeted by the inviting aroma of the tea spread and the cozy atmosphere of the Harvest House. The room, adorned with soft, muted colors and autumn-themed decorations, was a perfect backdrop for a delightful afternoon. The guests, a mix of old friends and new acquaintances, gathered around the table, ready to enjoy the seasonal treats and each other's company. Among the attendees was Sophia, a local writer known for her love of cozy gatherings and autumnal beauty. She was enchanted by the tea setup and immediately felt inspired by the scene. Sophia poured herself a cup of coffee and selected a cinnamon roll, savoring the sweet, buttery flavor as she admired the hydrangeas. As the tea progressed, Sophia engaged in lively conversation with other guests, sharing stories and laughter. The warmth of the coffee and the delicious cinnamon rolls made for a delightful experience, and the hydrangeas added a touch of elegance to the gathering. Sophia found herself immersed in the cozy ambience, her creative mind swirling with ideas. Inspired by the tea, Sophia began to pen a new story set in a similar autumnal setting. The tale was one of friendship, warmth, and the joy of gathering together, capturing the essence of the tea and the beauty of the season. The story became a beloved piece, reflecting the charm and elegance of the Harvest House and its autumn tea.